In today's video, we are going to see how to create flashcards in Canva and sell them on Etsy. Something like this one. Not only on Etsy, but you can even sell them on any other marketplace, online marketplaces like TeachersPayTeachers.com or anything like that. These flashcards are basically printable PDF files that we are going to create on Canva. Let's jump into it. While you're watching this, you can get my guidebook with important tips, various ideas discussed in this video, where I have given 30 to 40 ideas for creating different flashcards as a companion copy. And yes, I have used the Canva free version to create this video for the flashcard tutorial. If you find a discount field, you can use YouTube Love as the coupon code without spaces, all in lowercase, to take $2 off from your purchase. Alternatively, you can use this special link and can get $2 discount from the already existing low price for a limited time. Alright, here's what we will see by the end of this video. And here's the outcome from today's video that we are planning to get. Okay, now I'm on Canva, and once I'm here, I'm going to click on create a design and choose custom size, and it might show as pixel as default for you. If that's the case, go to inches and type in 8.5 width and 11 as the height. So that's the standard US letter document dimensions. Click on create new design. I'm going to close my design pane here to have more larger room for design. And you might notice that I have a ruler over here. So if you don't see that, you can get that activated by clicking on show rulers. And I'm also going to go ahead and activate the show guides and the show print bleed, which is going to be more important. And the margins also optionally you can get it activated, but for me I don't need the margins. But let's keep it for simplicity's sake, so that we can see the size for when we add the margins and borders. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do here is the nitty-gritties. As we saw earlier, we are going to add perforation, the dotted lines, for easy cutting. Let us see some details on how to get that done. Add it. You can go to elements and click on the line to under the shapes to add a line. But without doing that, you can also optionally hit on, let me close this again, just hit the character L for line on your keyboard, and that adds a line. Now we want to change this line into dotted lines and also change the weight from 5 to 2. So that gives a neat small dotted line. And the second thing to note here is whenever you're dragging this end point of the line, hit the shift key so you can get a straight line. So this is going to act as the perforation. Now let me quickly add perforations across the center of the page and a line here to give me 4 picture options here. So let us keep this from margin to margin and position this as middle, so it is at the perfect center. Alright, there are still some more spaces left here on the left and right side of the margin which we can make use of. So I'm going to go even further, but where do we stop? We don't know, and for that reason I suggest adding a guide for this purpose. You can do that by going on to the ruler until your pointer changes to two-sided arrow. Click and drag it. You'll see that a guide gets added. I'm going to add it at 0.320 from the top and leave it there. A similar one at the bottom as well, and another guide for the left and right. Okay, now we can extend this line further till this guide. It touches the guide. Okay, so now we got the center perforation done, and we will also add perforations along these guides for the border as well.
One eternity later.
Now with the guides gone, we can see all the perforations neatly added. Not necessary that the borders should also be cut out, perforated or maybe cut out, but this in between is what is important for us to show as like the place to cut out. This acts like a border for the image. Let's get rid of the print bleed and the margins also to see how it looks. So we can place now the images here on these bigger boxes and the form fields inside these as the label cards. I'm going to duplicate these further and then make use of to add all the images that we have. So that takes care of our first part, which is to add perforated or the dotted lines for easy cutting, the nitty-gritties. Now second, let's see now how to create the flashcards itself. So now let's get done with adding the images and the form fields. So while adding, instead of we have two options here. One, we can add it just the image directly and minimize those and put them here to fit the image box we created, or we can also add a frame and leaving some space below for the hard-coded name. I'm going to hit the letter T on my keyboard to bring up the text box and type in the name of the animal. Let's bring up another animal and add this over here, tiger. Duplicate the name. I'm going to duplicate these images as well, bring them down for quicker additions, and simply drag a new animal to change the animal. Cool. And let's also add the names. Okay, now the flashcard is ready for 4 animals. I'm going to quickly make another 2 more to add all my 12 animals.
A few moments later.
Alright, now I have added all my 12 animals into these 2x2 grid. So here you can see 4 animals, and here 4 animals, and here 4, with the names hard coded into the font that I have used. Next, we are going to duplicate this 3 pages and then add spaces here for form fields, so people who purchase this can input the names themselves. Okay, so now I'm going to create a copy of this using shift key. I'm going to copy these 4 animals, go on to this where we have given space for the name labels, click here and then Ctrl V to paste the animals. It perfectly fits in, as you can see, except for this elephant and rabbit. I'm going to shrink the sizes to fit this inside. Okay, same for the second page. Holding the shift key, I'm copying these 4 animals. Now I'm going to add 5, 6, 7 and 8, adjust them to show inside the picture boxes, and the final 4 here, and positioned well. Alright, so now we have got 6 pages on 6 pages here, and you can see these are all repeated images. Let's arrange them here. You can see the first 2 pages are the same set of animals, but with the first one we got the names added and hard coded. With the second one we left space for adding the form fields. Same goes for this set and this set as well. Cool. So we got 12 animals. Alright, so now this is ready. All that's left is to add the form fields. Let's now quickly see how to add the form fields for the spaces that we left here to be added. To do that, I'm going to download and show you for just 1 page, and you can do the same for the remaining pages as well. Choose print PDF, PDF print, and I'm going to only pick the second page for this demo and download this. Next, I'm going to open up a website. There are many websites that lets us edit a PDF online to add form fields. One such is sajda.com, and another one is PDFEscape.com. I prefer PDFEscape because of one key feature which I'm about to show you. Of course, both will let us add form fields free online without the need for any account. Come here to pdfescape.com/open and click on open PDF to PDFEscape. After clicking on this, now we can drag and drop the PDF, which is where we are going to add 4 form fields for the label cards, the name label cards. Let me close this off for more room. Okay, so this is where I'm going to add the label cards. Click on form field to add a form field. The type will be text. Select, and I click and drag this to form a rectangle and leave it at that. That's it. Now clicking on this once, you can see that the font is too small. So let's correct that by increasing the font size here. And I have seen that 65 works better, anywhere in the range of 65 to 70 is good. Okay, and now is the key feature that I was talking about earlier, which is PDFEscape will allow us to center the text. Okay, I keep creating this one accidentally. You can center the text by right clicking on this form field, go to object properties, and under alignment change it to center. This option is not available on Sejda. I think when I tried it was not there. If you see that it is available, or if the change has happened, let me know in the comments below. So that's why I like PDFEscape in this situation. Perfect. Now all that's left is to duplicate this form field. Okay, right click, duplicate. You can also change the font, but whatever you give, make sure this is consistent for all the cards. Let's go with Times New Roman. Cool. Now next you can just click on keep clicking save button here to keep saving whatever changes you make. But if not, if you're already done and there's no more changes left, directly click on save and download PDF. Okay, let's open this up. Okay, this gives us a beautiful form field that is editable. Okay, now there's one thing that's left that I intended to do but missed, which I also highly recommend for you to do, which is adding your Etsy shop's name on the flashcards. So let's see how to get that done quickly. In here, let's minimize this. Okay, I'm going to zoom this, and I'm going at the bottom or maybe at the right here. Let's add a name of our shop, Etsy shop. Mine is Art Intelli. That's the name I have in my mind. So I'm going to add that by hitting on the text. Make sure I add this show print bleed, so I'm not going beyond this line. And then add it for all my pages. Okay, so now this is added and we got our fourth outcome done. With the let's go with the fifth outcome. I'm going to duplicate this card page and bring it to the end. And in this, I'm going to add some frames instead of the actual pictures on the page itself. To do that, I'm going to elements, search for frame, and add a frame that has rounded edges. Now our original plan was to add the frames here and then I insert the images into these with the hard-coded names, but the names are not going to be hard-coded separately as label cards. Instead, we are going to get rid of these names, so only the frames are inside the boxes, and we will insert the images directly when we create the first outcome, which was to have the images on single plain paper with each image on its own plain paper as JPEG files. That's what we are going to insert into these frames. Okay, so this is created. Great. Let me duplicate these and check what we got. Okay. Next, I'm going to create 12 different pages with each image on its own separate page with the hard-coded names, which we can download as JPEG files and re-import into Canva, and that's what we are going to insert into these of each of these frames. Let's do that quickly. Looks good. Now I'm going to create a copy of this for all the other remaining 11 animals. Now what's left is to get into this one and replace this with my other images. Okay, now I've added all the 12 animals onto its separate pages with each image on its separate plain paper with hard-coded names. This is what we are going to download and provide into our zip file as the outcome also for the customer to download them and keep them as their JPEG files. Let's see how it looks. It looks great if you ask me here, so you can choose whatever you want, and these are just for sample, but it turned out really well with my names also here given with a good border as well. Okay, so these are all created. Now next I'm going to check our checklist, outcome checklist, and see what all we have done. Okay, as you can see, we completed the third one, which is to keep each image on its separate plain paper with hard-coded names for JPEG files. That's done. Fourth one is done with the images and form fields with another sheet with same names, same images and form fields but with perforation in between. That is also done. And the last one with the rounded corner frames to insert images. That's what we are going to do next. To do that, I'm going to download these 12 each image on separate plain paper as the image JPEG files. Let's download pages 10 through 21 as JPEG files. Download. Okay, great, we got them as a zip file. Great. These will go into our zip file when we upload this to Etsy, so people can get this independent image as JPEG file as well. For now, I'm going to choose all of them and drag and drop into Canva to upload. As it gets uploaded, let's head on to our frames page so that we can now drag and drop those ready image JPEG files into these, so that we can also get the rounded corner cuts. To see them distinctly from the background, since we already have white background on these JPEG files, I'm going to change the background for these pages with the frames. Okay, let's start dragging and dropping them onto the card and choose a darker border. One thing to notice, my name gets cut over here. That can be taken care of by editing it, by bringing the name outside of the border of my flashcard, or create a copy of it and then get rid of that dotted line border, because as a JPEG file we want to keep the border, but within this frame I do not want to keep it. That's one thing I'll remember to remove. You can also remove that before exporting it. Change the border color and keep it consistent. You can play with the colors however you want to keep it. Now let's look at how these all frames are looking. So our individual JPEG files are great, and the rounded corner box is also looking fine. I might have to reduce the size of it, but I think it looks okay for now. And we also got the name label cards added with the form fields through PDFEscape. So now what's left is from the outcome, we've got all the images on a single plain paper with names to do, and the second one, all name images on a plain paper with name editable fields to do. So first and second one, let's get that done. Okay, now we've got all the images on a single plain paper with names hard-coded, and next we want to add these and then just have form fields added below this, and that we can get it done using PDFEscape again. For that I'm going to have only the animal images without the hard-coded names, and add form fields below each of these animals to have the editable fields added using PDFEscape. So that will also take care of our second outcome. So with this, all the 5 different things are done, and it's now ready to download. Care to be taken here, because we want to while downloading, we don't want to download all the pages into a single PDF file. We want to download the flashcards itself as a single PDF with high quality PDF print option, and the remaining single animal page images as JPEG files, and this one also should be a JPEG file. So with that, now our flashcard set is all ready, which can be downloaded into JPEG files and PDF files, and create our bundle zip file to upload onto our online marketplaces like Etsy or TeacherPayTeachers. I realized this video was a little longer one than usual, because I wanted to take the time to slowly show how things are done with the flashcards and not rush it. I hope you really got benefited out of this. If you have any questions, I'll do my best in answering them. Just ask them in the comments below.